we have to make these people that we put in this office work for us. We put you there to do a job. Do your goddamn job.
Somebody
like you on the front lines overseas.
You know you can assess a threat.
Different beast.
He can disarm you, you know, in a matter of a second.
One thing I need for everyone to understand that is not Black watching is Black people are a strong culture, because the things that we go through and still have to work every day and act like none of this is going on. Like,
what happens if you can't afford therapy?
But there are some.
There's like free therapies out there right now.
They're offering like therapy
in every state.
It's COVID.
So, Daniel Cameron,
oh Lord,
the AG of Kentucky, did not prosecute the officers in the Breonna Taylor murder. He's been brought up on some interesting charges by the grand jury. 2 grand jury participants have said, listen here. Linda, I want to speak out. Because something that Mr. Cameron did was not right. Mm-hmm. So the second juror said, well, they both remained anonymous. That's number one. Because, you know, if they don't, in this country.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to turn up missing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, they want permission to speak freely about their experience. And there's a hearing that's coming up on this coming Thursday, because the judge has said you have until Wednesday to release the information that has been requested by the family of Breonna Taylor and the lawyers. So,
and that was with the judge giving him an extension.
Yes, because they said they wanted to redact like the social security numbers and the people's addresses. No, I think they want to redact more than that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like what they've been doing throughout this entire time with all of the statements, and when they submitted the statement and all of the stuff that the cops were doing before we even they've been putting out false information the entire time.
Yeah.
Well, all of this started because they lied to get that warrant. So all it started from a lie. So it's like, okay, you lie, and then you got to keep a lie to keep that lie, and then you got to lie again to keep the lie from the first lie, and it's a chain. It's a chain.
So do you notice the pattern of lies from the head on down? What do they say about when the head of the
fish rots from the head?
Yes, the fish rots from the head. So that's exactly what's going on. There's so many instances of lies being told. Now, I'm not saying that politicians are truthful at all. But when you have tens of thousands of documented fact-check lies under your belt, that is a new record. Guinness. He probably is in the Guinness book for the number of lies as a president. Told.
I've sat on a grand jury, and they come in and say, we are seeking these charges. Mm-hmm. It's not as if we had a say in if it should be
a different charge.
Yeah. So he said that they said it's not murder, but that charge was never presented. So,
and that's the problem.
That was the problem from the beginning.
Right.
That was the problem from the beginning because of the fact that they didn't even try to bring up the charge of manslaughter, wrongful anything. And then from what I heard from Ben Crump's and Sean King's organization, they said that as far as the officers go, the warrants and the paperwork that they filled out afterwards, they just basically copied and pasted from all the other ones that they have done. Yeah. So
They had to lie to keep the lie to keep the lie.
So they didn't even fill out the paperwork out properly. So it's just like there's too many ishy things going on for it all to be circumstantial. Something got to be going on underneath that. All of this stuff that's going on. Something. And you don't gotta accept it, but they asking for another grand jury. And I don't blame them.
I have such a headache.
From this or from?
I have a headache from, I think I've had this headache for the past 4 years.
Since he came down that escalator.
It just doesn't
We
go
all need
away.
therapy. I'm telling you, like we should have free therapy because of the last 4 years.
Yeah. I honestly say it even stems further back from that.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm just saying it's on another level. This 4 years.
Just all, it's constant trauma that's being inflicted on us that we constantly see over and over and over again, and then we'll start to normalize it like a video game.
Well, and that's it. We have normalized so much of our pain thus far that it's just what it becomes. It is what it is to us.
Right.
It is what it is.
Just every day.
Yeah, Rock and I were speaking yesterday about voting, and we spoke of what happened in 2016, and I said, it's just so crazy. I remember, that night I went to bed and I said I would just hear the results in the morning, and first thing in the morning when I woke up and got myself settled and turned on the television, I could not believe my eyes. I then went to the phone and went to social media, and I said, what the hell? I texted Nikki and I said, I must still be asleep, and this is an effing nightmare, and you need to wake me up and tell me, yeah, bitch, wake up. I remember going to work that morning and the glum look on so many faces.
It was funeral.
Cloudy. It was so gloomy.
Walking into the office that morning, and everyone in the office was so upset. And I don't work in an office with people that just look like me. So people need to understand that.
Right.
Yeah, it's not about that portion.
Like a white thing.
Right. People were it was like no one spoke that day. Everyone was just
like nobody did work.
In a somber mood.
Did work.
In a somber mood. And Rock was just saying it better be different, because I'm making sure I get out there and vote. We can't have 2016 happen again. We can't allow that to happen again, because we know what we've been experiencing throughout and this last year has been, I think, the craziest. I thought 2017 was crazy, and 2018, and he almost got us to go to war. I thought that was crazy, and there's everything else but this year I think has been the craziest with him in this office. We've seen so much more of his ugly side come out.
Oh yeah.
But we need a change. The world needs a change. The world is so divided. We're actually seeing people for who they are. Our next door neighbors have finally revealed themselves.
Oh yeah.
People were on Fifth Avenue in front of Trump Towers, in support of. And it's just so, look, like who you like, support who you like.
Right.
I just don't need your extraness, because people are so open today to be who they always been, but we're afraid to let us know that that's who they were.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're proud boys and girls.
I told you, I don't believe them to be a white supremacist group.
They're not.
Right. And I kept saying, with that day, I was like, with a name like Enrique.
Oh yeah, he was the head of one of the chapters of the RNC.
So but Trump tried to remove himself from that, but dude, stop it. You like, I don't know who the Proud Boys are. Dude, stop it.
Exactly who they are, man.
just cut it out.
Who is Antifa? I still don't know who Antifa is. You talk about Antifa, and I'm just like, who are you talking about? I have never seen.
He mentioned them.
The Antifa people. Who is Antifa?
I kept on saying that. I'm like, who the hell is Antifa? Who let the gate open?
Oh, it don't sound black though.
Who the hell let the gate open?
Black.
Who let the gate open? I'm just like, who are these people? I don't know these people.
And the right and the left.
Like Latifah.
I know Latifah, but I don't know Antifa.
To piggyback what Cho was saying about Rock saying that he was definitely going to vote. There's a lot of people that are not going to vote, or they're saying that they're going to cast a ballot for, they're going to write a name in and then cast that ballot because they don't believe in Biden's
Or Trump.
Okay.
or Trump. So Yvette had sent out a text earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all's president said that he is going to halt all talks regarding the stimulus. Now, millions of Americans are now unemployed due to the pandemic. So he said he's going to halt all talks of that until after the election.
Until I win.
So basically what he is saying is,
Right.
and number one, when he went into Walter Reed, he tweeted that stimulus negotiations must proceed. We must get whatever he said, we must have a stimulus plan, whatever, passed. But now you get out and you done survive COVID, apparently. And now, all of that is going to cease. So you're saying that if you don't get voted in, F these niggas, yo, I ain't doing nothing for them. Ain't nothing going to pass. Y'all ain't getting nothing from me.
That's what he's saying.
He's such a child.
That's what he's saying.
Such a
He's
toddler.
a petulant child.
He's such a child. Like, they don't vote for me. They didn't like me, so I'm gonna,
Yes,
like,
that's exactly what he's doing. And if he does not get elected in November, you still have December and January to go that people are struggling.
Right.
People are struggling with multiple children or just no income at all.
Watching CNN this morning, and they highlighted a woman in California, a mom who worked for one of the airlines. I don't remember what airline it was, but she made $20 an hour, $22 an hour, and she's struggling to feed her children. She's been feeding them what she can, get her hands on. And we always know it's always the quick, fast meals. It's always the easiest and the cheapest things to feed your family. So now these kids aren't getting healthy meals. She said once upon a time, she showed her cabinets and her refrigerator. She said her refrigerator, her cabinets were always stocked. And now they're empty. And she's not working. Her unemployment application is still being halted because of California and them doing their investigations with all of the bogus unemployment claims. So they have all of that going on that's keeping people who actually really need to collect unemployment right now from getting it. And you have someone saying that I'm going to hold off on this because I want to wait to see. I want to wait to see I want to make sure that you put me back in office. First it was, let's blame it on Nancy Pelosi, holding, she's the one who's holding it up. Nancy Pelosi wasn't holding it up. She was making demands on what they believe the people should really get to help the people have what they need. And when you think of that, they show the food pantry lines and how the car loads and how the cars are lined up first thing in the morning, and the days where they get fresh produce, how the fresh produce just goes within a split second. Everyone who's there, the first come, it's the first come, first serve. And people are out there, first thing in the morning so they can get the fresh produce just so they can have the fresh goods in their house so we don't have to feed our kids the crappy food.
But they're out there for hours during a pandemic.
They're out there during a pandemic just to get food to put on their table. Like now we have a food crisis.
Mm-hmm.
We have access a food crisis. Food. We have a health crisis. We have a social crisis. We have a civic crisis. We have a political crisis.
So we have
an education crisis. And you're saying we're going to put this off until after the election. but you're not going to put off. But he said this way we need to focus. We could focus on installing the Supreme Court justice. So
And that's
you're
important.
saying,
And that's important.
It's important to him.
so you're saying that everybody in this country, whether they're in blue states or red states, they're being able to feed themselves or feed their family. That takes a back seat to put in a justice in office. And there are some people that'll be like, if I gotta starve on all the days, dag nabbit, I'll starve because we'll get our justice in there.
But she's only been a judge
3 years.
for 3 years.
No, for 3.
I don't want a doctor who's only been a doctor for 3 years. Just saying.
I'm a
Go
damn
to the
technician.
doctor.
Before we go to the next topic, I wanted to read some of this because it disturbed me, but I decided after just seeing these posts that I'm not going to engage in willful ignorance with anyone. I'm just not going to do it.
Oh.
So I had posted, it was a repost. Someone had put on their Twitter, Miss Packy Yeti. She said, everyone, and I do mean everyone, should be against officers being able to walk into your home and kill you with impunity. And then she said, everyone again. Now, that was the post. And some of the stuff, one person said, stop acting ghetto and you won't get shot. Others said, culture outrage is retarded. Others said, some people had some sense. So let me not say that. Still not outraged. I guess I'm not a drug dealer. People are pissed off that a drug dealer died.
There was no evidence that she was a drug dealer.
Matter of fact, they had drug dogs come through the apartment afterwards and they found no trace,
Nothing.
any trace of drugs.
No, there's no evidence of that.
So I need them to stop getting their news from underneath a piece of gum on the bus. Yes, I'm sorry.
Can I just raise one thing?
Sure.
Because I remember learning the definition of the word ghetto as a child.
And they were not it wasn't associated.
And I'm going to read the definition that I was taught in elementary school, and I was in the public school system in New York City.
Wait, before you go, read. Okay.
Ghetto definition is a quarter of a city in which Jews were formerly required to live.
Message.
It always drives me because I learned the definition of this word. I think I may have been in the 2nd or 3rd grade. And when I started hearing people say ghetto more, it used to confuse the heck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't understand what the hell it was meaning, because that wasn't that wasn't what I was taught the word meant.
Right.
I was taught that it was a dwelling where Jews lived.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
People have taken that.
Now, and that's still the Webster's definition. That is still the definition for ghetto in Merriam-Webster. They have come up with all of these other different, a part of a city, especially a slum area, occupied by a minority group or groups. That is not the Merriam-Webster's definition. Merriam-Webster still has the same definition that I learned as a child, and I will be 50 years old.
Boom.
I just had to put that out there. So when you say to a person, stop acting ghetto, what exactly does that mean?
Right.
Idiotic.
Thank you.
Breonna was criminally involved. Stop the lies. Open your eyes. You're being lied to.
So again, that warranted the police coming in her home and shooting up the place?
Yeah, but basically people are saying if she wouldn't be dead if she wasn't a drug dealer. And her boyfriend
that
shot
these
the
people
cops.
have no remorse. They don't have an
No.
ounce of sadness. They have more sadness for a dog. If it was a dog in the apartment
Oh yeah.
that got shot
They
by
killed
accident,
the dog.
they would have been
Oh, yeah.
protesting.
Yes.
And so, one thing I need for everyone to understand that is not Black watching this, Black people are a strong culture, because the things that we go through and still have to work every day and act like none of this is going on. Like, you're telling me that this woman deserved to get shot and killed
In her home.
In her home. Like, how can you even see the rightness in that? I'm not understanding. How can you even look at that and say, hey, you know what? She shoulda, coulda, woulda. No.
And the sad thing is, it's all races that are saying that. Yeah, it's all based on the first lie told, and it's like a tree of lies that branches out into so many different.
But you know what? They did that to George Floyd. Everybody, even down to Trayvon Martin, everybody has gotten killed. They dig into their past and bring out something that happened years before, and that's why they got killed at that present moment.
Yeah,
but you know what? But even in Breonna Taylor's case, because I got into a back and forth with someone, and I just had to remove myself because you know
sometimes you have to for your own.
Yeah, you just gotta be like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah, ignorance with no respect, wisdom, and are you wasting your breath on an asshole? Just you make yourself look like an asshole.
Right.
But clearly you people aren't paying attention to this case. Because had they been paying attention to this case, they would know that she was not a drug dealer.
Exactly.
If you listened and pay attention to this case, you would know that those same police tried to get her ex-boyfriend who was in jail to state that she was a drug dealer, and he refused.
He was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
So, what do you people? If you cannot have an intelligent conversation,
that's why I won't engage.
Keep your effing fingers off those keys, and keep your goddamn mouth shut.
Exactly.
And my biggest thing with all of them, everybody that has something to say like that and wishes death on somebody or don't care, like let's say she was. You know what? Let's play devil's advocate and say that Breonna was a drug dealer.
She still didn't deserve to get killed like that.
She did not deserve to die, and that's not up to the police to decide.
Right.
That's up for a judge and a jury.
Right. But somewhere
so let's start going through all of the cases where law enforcement
took the law into their own hands, literally.
No, let's go into cases where law enforcement was a part of drug situations.
Oh, it's a long list of those.
Let's go into cases that were at the top. Let's just go to Oliver North.
Oh, you took it
way back.
So because then they all need to die.
Right.
Is what they're saying. They all need to die.
Right.
Okay.
Remember when Dave Chappelle, and I'm not even trying to make a joke out of this, but remember when Dave Chappelle was doing the skit, or he was doing stand up, and he was saying like every time a black man has died from the hands of a cop, they would sprinkle crack all over them. Do you remember that? Like he was saying like they would sprinkle crack all over them, and they'd be like, okay, he was taking drugs, that's why he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So
they always try to justify after the fact because you make a split-second decision. You make a permanent decision in somebody's life because you were in fear for your own.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
That is the excuse all of them give. I was in fear.
And you shouldn't be a cop.
Floyd, he was resisting.
But the tape showed he wasn't resistant.
Yeah, that's like the other person, was it in Rochester, who was also killed the same way by a knee on his neck. He was under the influence of narcotics, and that's how I think it was. He was under the influence, and that's how they handled that situation. So they murdered him by asphyxiation by putting a knee on his neck as well.
What happened to the lady that they hogtied her and in the back of the police car for 20 minutes? She was upside down. I don't care what she did. That is why you have a judge, a jury, and a jail.
Exactly. They wouldn't do that to Karen, though.
Oh no.
If I took the law into they would. They would
have Karen upside down in the car like that?
Upside down?
They would.
I don't know about that one.
They would.
I've never seen it.
I need to see a video of this one.
I know, that's what I said. Like, I gotta see that tape.
Yeah, you gotta come up with some stats. You gotta come up with some footage or something.
You don't need that. You just my word alone. Because that's what people go by today.
True.
No. So
let me ask you a question, ladies. How do we expect moving forward all of this stuff that we talk about? How are we supposed to go on with life mentally? How are we supposed to go on?
Let us pray together.
I think we need more than prayer.
No, I'm just...
prayer is a great start. But I think
like, I don't know. Like that, I don't know.
Actually verbalize it, and not just verbalize it, move towards action. Like one thing I saw an interview, matter of fact, I had sent it to you, Joe, with Sean King, and he was just like, one thing that we've been great at doing ever since social media has come up, and is that we've made everyone aware of what's going on. So now everybody is aware.
Right.
Even the most evil person can now say Black Lives Matter because they are aware.
Right.
He was just like, but we need to take it from just having awareness to now laws being changed, to now structural changes, and all that other good stuff. So having conversations and now getting involved and in whatever capacity that we can, because some people are the town criers, some people are the foot workers, some people are the administrators. So everybody has a role in the movement forward. But while we're moving, we just got to keep each other encouraged.
Right.
That's all we can do. Like they did back in the day, slave. They sang together, they prayed together, they cried together. At least we have all of these outlets that we can reach out to each other, because it's daunting. This joint is
But what's sad is that now that everything's on camera, they still can find excuses on why this stuff is still happening to Black people.
And that's why we have to change the laws. That comes with the current laws.
Before
right.
From the video. So it's now, okay, it's taped, but y'all don't know like all that went down.
The backstory.
Before the video.
Right.
So, it's always
why we have to change the laws that the police are held to. And we can't have the district attorneys or attorney generals being elected.
Who we vote for.
Yes, who we vote for now being in cahoots because they need the same police officers to be, witnesses on other cases.
And that's another thing within the Breonna Taylor situation, because the attorney general, the mayor, all of those people are what?
Black. And were elected by us.
And they wanted no parts of that case.
Mm-hmm.
They did like Pontius Pilate when they brought Jesus to him. He was just like,
did not know him. I wipe my hands of the matter.
I don't know. Got to go someplace else.
So and again, and this is, I always say, I say it all the time. We have to make these people that we put in this office work for us. We put you there to do a job. Do your goddamn job.
Right.
Because this is why I voted for you, to do a job. And
they know who you are, and I'm a witness that they know exactly who I am, because they send me mail for everything. They send me not just mail, they send me emails. All these politicians know that I donate. So they hey Chaya, now we're on first name basis. That's business, Chaya, to you.
I received text messages to log into Zooms and to town hall Zooms.
Yeah.
Text messages.
Yeah.
So you know how to get in touch with me.
Yeah.
And just realize, this is one thing that I think all of us need to realize, that the taxes that we pay within our municipality, whatever city you live in, whatever town you live in, that pays the salary of the police officers and the elected officials. So police officers should not be paid to kill their own. One of my best friends is PD. And she said, she was just like, CPR, that's what we're trained. I was like, what that mean? She said, courtesy, professionalism, and respect. Ooh. I was like, that's what they
mean. That they just started with. That was a new implemented.
No, that isn't.
That's been on the cards forever.
I know. I've
seen that
from a little girl.
I was like, that's what it mean?
Yep.
I said, get out of Dodge.
They don't do stop. Let me stop.
A lot of people became police officers with the notion of, in 20 years I can retire with a cop pension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was just another job.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have
to be honest with you. The police officers in my town, I have had nothing but great experiences with them. I don't know if it's like Cho says, classism. I don't know. But I've had nothing but great relationships with them. When my husband's phone was stolen right outside his car.
Which time?
Right. Right. Like my son goes and hugs the police officer when mommy had got into a fender bender, this little jerk of a lady, and here go Winky. And he's like, hey little fella, and they were all Italian.
Okay.
But you know, I've never had a bad experience with them, but there are obviously sometimes when
them, as Chris Rock said, some bad apples.
When we can't afford to have bad apples in police station,
So you can't have bad apples flying the planes either.
That's right.
Land most of the time. I need you to have 100% track record in landing this plane.
Yes.
But that's why you need a lot of. I know NYPD has paramilitary training, and they're taught to de-escalate. However, like there have been times. I remember a story a long time ago. He was a veteran. He was, I think, a Navy or Army, one of them. And he had went on a call as a police officer because he came back and he became a police officer. He went to the call, and the man that was there was a black man, and he was just mentally disturbed, and he did not assess it as a threat because now he got actual military training on the ground. Right. In front line, so he got to, especially if you overseas and you're in some of the other countries that everybody wears a hijab or everybody is covered because of the climate. You got to assess who's a threat and who's not. Right. You don't know if they carrying something underneath that, or not. But he has to know as a soldier how to react. So he did that as a police officer, and they fired his ass because he didn't shoot the guy.
Damn.
He filed a lawsuit and he won, but they fired him, a white man. But he knew what he was doing. Like that's somebody.
Like you on the front lines overseas.
You can assess a threat.
Different beast.
He could disarm you, in a matter of a second. But he was just like, this is not a threat.
Right. He's having an issue.
He's having an episode, and that's why funding, they're not talking about defund the police. They're talking about having funding for people that are well-versed in mental, instabilities and the psyche of a human, instead of you sending cops to de-escalate an issue with somebody that's having a psychotic episode. Right. That is not there. And I think that a lot of towns put too much on their cops. They're not psychiatrists. They're not, they are first responders.
Doctors,
like they can do
autism and all of that stuff.
But you sending them in for everything, for homeless. Now they the outreach. Just give it to the cops. So I don't think
they're not well versed in those areas.
No.
Yeah.
Obviously they have to know, but they ain't.
But to go back to what Keisha was saying, how we get out of this, if you need to talk to someone, seek therapy.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You have to take care of your mental health, especially at a time like now, because so much is happening in the world all at once. Seek therapy. Nothing to be ashamed of. It doesn't mean you're crazy.
Right.
What happens if you can't afford therapy now?
But but there are some.
There's free therapies out there right now.
They're offering free therapy
in every state.
It's COVID.
No, I'm just asking so that if anybody is watching and they're like, well, I don't have insurance, so
Yeah. No, but
there's hotlines.
There's places on.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one.
It's 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, between COVID and racism and Trump, it's too much going on.
Yeah, it's just way too much. People are falling off the wagon. People are, there's a lot of people relapsing. There's a lot that's happening right now, and it's hard. It's hard. If you have been in recovery for some time and you feel as those demons are starting to attack you, speak to your sponsors. Speak to your sponsors. Let somebody know. You know, hang out with your sober friends. Make sure that if you need to spend 24 hours with your sober friends, spend 24 hours with your sober friends. You have to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, especially now.
Especially.
It's real out here in these streets.
Don't miss the next episode of Between Sisters, Hot Topics Edition. Make sure to subscribe and click that notification button.